All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday night. Welcome to Bill's Retro Gaming Show. Good to see some people already coming in on the chat here as we get started. Happy to be with you guys for another Wednesday evening here. Happy Hump Day, kicking off the middle of the week. As usual, once this show is done, I will have everybody redirected over to Arcades Anonymous. So if you guys like to watch them, you can definitely stick around and check them out after the show tonight. I see more and more people are streaming in. Thumper Squid might have the answer to that tonight, especially if you're a VR gamer. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but good to see everybody here. Let's say hi to who's coming in. As we said before, we got Thumper Squid here. Always good to see you. Kevin Clausen here. Hello. Gamer Fridge. Good to see you. We have been talking behind the scenes. I'm going to be on with those guys in a couple of weeks, so I'm excited to be hanging out with them. So keep your eye out for that. Jason S., always good to see you here. Of course, our wonderful moderator, Jason Little Alien, here as always. And we'll just continue to say hi to people as they come pouring into the chat. So as usual, I got a pretty jam-packed show tonight. I got a couple of things that I wanted to share with you guys. You guys saw the thumbnail. I'm going to talk a little bit about Iconic Arcade. I don't really want to spend a ton of time on it because I know a lot of people have been covering it lately. You've probably all heard a lot of this stuff already. Just going to throw my 2 cents in on that. We're going to talk a little bit about Pinball FX, a little bit of AtGame news, and like I said, I've got a couple of other things that I've come across that I thought would be fun to share with you guys, and a little special treat, a little behind-the-scenes look at some stuff with Bill's Retro Gaming Show coming up a little bit later that I hope will be fun. I hope you guys will enjoy it. Let's see. Ooh, Hockeytown Arcade. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Jim the Pacers fan is also here. Ritual Dello. Big Bad Bill is Sweet William now. I pride myself on being able to say your name correctly. I know my buddy Glenn butchers it every single week. So, Ritual Dello, always good to see you. Video Game Vegas, excellent to see you as always. Steve Sale is here. So, yeah, more people coming in. Always excited to see more people coming in. All right, let's, you know what? Let's dive into stuff because, like I said, I do try to keep this to an hour. I know you guys are busy. You have other stuff to do, other shows to watch for sure. So, basic. Oh, we got a super chat right off the bat here. Thank you, Kevin Clausen. Basic Fun is making XL, right? 19K Fox lies. I don't know. Did he say they're not? I mean, from what I understand, at least one of the things that they mentioned sounded like an XL size. We got to wait till we get more info because we really do not know exactly what they're going to be doing until they, make some more announcements. I've been trying to reach out to people. Nobody's getting back to me, but that's, I guess, not a big surprise. I don't expect to really hear much from them for a couple of months, until we see more of what they got. But thank you so much for the super chat. And you know what? This is for you.
Oh boy, is this great!
Just a little something. I've been trying to throw a couple of things together for stuff like that. And yes, would you? Rotundo! Yeah, it always cracks me up when he says that. I don't know why he can't pronounce your name. Let's assume we don't need proof. Now, some of us like to know. It's always fun to speculate, but some of us like to know more. What is it? P-Dubs keep saying. I said it on the internet, so without any proof, so it has to be true. All right, you know what? Let's get into some things. I really don't want to. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but let's see. Oh, look, it's B. So I know a lot of you guys have seen this. I know you guys have seen B's coverage. So if you didn't get a chance to watch this video, I will for sure put a link in the description once the stream is done. Oh, look, and we're going to get a commercial. That's always fun. Hang on. There we go. Back to B. So he was out at that Arc Systems Works show, checking out what they had going on. Of course, he was there looking at the Double Dragon cabs that, were on display during this event. Let me see if I can get to some of that. So yeah, a lot of you guys saw this again, the Double Dragon cabs. Unfortunately, it is looking like these are not something that were designed for production. Yeah, I know. I should look at that. But these were not something designed for production. These were primarily designed for the show. We know that Bobby Vu had a lot to do with these. Now, whether or not, these actually go into production or, at some point, we'll have to wait and see, if anything comes of these. My guess is if something like these are going to be made for production to go out like to home arcades or whatever, it's probably more likely going to be this one, the original Double Dragon cab, not so much that Double Dragon Revive. I'm not saying that's impossible. It really feels like that was something made specifically for the show. Now, I was curious about something, and I actually reached out to B a couple of days ago just to ask him about this. So with these two cabs, I was actually curious. If there were any more games on them, or if it was just like the marquee games. Like I assumed from what everybody was saying that the Double Dragon Revive was just the demo for that game, and that's what it was. It was a PC running that game. That was it. Now for the Double Dragon cab, believe it or not, it was actually the same thing. That was not a Raspberry Pi 5 in that machine like they're doing for the Street Fighters. That actually had a PC in it as well, running a version of MAME, and it only had the original Double Dragon running on it. So leads more credence to the fact that these were made specifically for the show. Now, again, was this kind of like, a backdoor way to maybe, get people interested, maybe proof of concept to Arc System Works that this is something that they could pull off and maybe would be worthwhile to do? Maybe. Now, again, I know all of you guys, again, shout out to B. I know all of you guys have seen this, but just to bring it up again, their canned response at the show was that Iconic Arcade is proud to partner with Arc System Works as an official sponsor of the Arc World Tour tournament. Lifelong fans of Arc's legendary arcade legacy, we're excited to showcase a set of one-of-one Double Dragon arcade machine prototypes at the event, bringing a true classic back to the arcade scene. Stay tuned for more details as we celebrate the games that define generations of players. So again, we've seen this. We've seen this. We don't really know what that's going to mean just yet. And I need more monitors because I'm having a hard time moving stuff around. Hang on. So we really don't know exactly what that means just yet. Does it mean that at some point we might see these? I'm trying to be cautiously optimistic with the fact that we might see that Double Dragon cab at some point. I know that game isn't everybody's cup of tea. It hasn't really aged well compared to a lot of games. Man, I love Danny, but he thinks everything's coming out. If they reproduce that exact Vu special, I'm in. Otherwise, probably not. I wouldn't count on it. unfortunately, I wouldn't count on it. I think if anything, it's probably going to be closer to what it looks like we're going to be getting with those Street Fighters. Not, HAP joysticks, but clones. Possibly, maybe like that one was with the 16. Now that one's got a 16:9 monitor in it with the bezel around it. They might do something similar. I don't know. Like I said, I think it's going to be closer to what they're trying to do with the Street Fighters than it would be that Bobby Vu thing. Bobby Vu goes all out. When he sets out to make a machine, he's going to make the machine he wants to make. So this thing was high end. If it came out like that, it would probably be an $800 to $1,000 machine. Now maybe people would be willing to spend that, but I think if they want to get it closer to that $500 or $600 range like the other ones, they've got to do it more like what they did with the Street Fighter. Like I said, it's interesting to me that did not have a Pi in it running the game like their Street Fighter ones does. It was actually a mini PC, or a PC. I don't know if it was a mini PC. It had a PC in it running MAME and just the one game. So again, thanks to B, he did clarify that for me. So that was interesting to find out. And again, just leads to the fact that these were one-on-ones and one-of-ones, and we'll just have hope. I think it may come down to what happens with the Street Fighter cabs and how well those do as to whether or not they can move forward with some other things. Jason says this one, off commission built with more expensive materials and components, will not come out. This does not preclude a DD cabinet coming out for mass production if ARC and Iconic come to a deal. 100%. Agree with that 100%. It's pretty much, exactly what I was trying to say, which you said so succinctly in one quick little chat. Beyond that, of course, we also got our canned statement about what was going on with Street Fighter. Here that is again for people in case you may have missed it. We remain on track to release the highly anticipated arcade Street Fighter XXL later this year. However, in light of newly introduced tariffs, we are reviewing production adjustments based on fan feedback to ensure we deliver the best possible experience. While our original target was June, these changes may result in a slight shift in the delivery timeline. We will provide a formal update as soon as details are finalized. Now, just like what a lot of other people are saying, I'm going to, kind of throw my 2 cents in here. And I do think it's weird that in the same sentence, they're saying it's because of tariffs and it's because of fan feedback. Which one is it? Is it because of tariffs or is it because of fan feedback? Or is it neither? And it's because of a cease and desist that we all kind of sort of think is, has happened. I don't know. Again, we'll just have to wait and see. Include many games. If Cuba, then you're out of Well, that's the thing with the Double Dragon cab. There really are a bunch of games they could put on there. For certain, the 3 Double Dragon games, then, there's some of the other Tecmos beat-em-ups like Combat Tribes and things like that. So there's definitely a lot of other games that could go on there. They could definitely, max that thing out with 12 or 14 games like they're going to do with Street Fighter. Sounds like a legal distraction tactic to me. Yeah, me too. It sounds like what it is. It's a canned statement to people. But I will say this. I do think that the people that are out there that are saying this isn't coming out, or, they're going to run away with your money or whatever, I don't believe that. First off, this is Iconic Arcade. They're backed by Lenovo. They're not going to take people's money and run. I really do think that this is something that's going to come out. Whether or not it actually winds up getting delayed, we'll have to wait and see. But if you put a pre-order in and you're concerned you're not going to get this, I wouldn't be too concerned. I do think that this is something that will eventually come out and see the light of day. Will there be changes from what they showed during the pre-order, what they're showing now? Yeah, maybe. again, it's just, we'll have to wait and see. But like I said, I don't want to spend too much time on that. I just wanted to cover it real quick because I haven't really put anything out there on it yet. And I wanted to throw my 2 cents in on what was going on with that. Video Game Vegas. Basic Foot had to drop their Star Wars Battle Pod because, oh, God. Can we get Star Wars Trilogy before we worry about freaking Battle Pod? Battle Pod's awesome, but I don't think we're going to see that in a home arcade anytime soon. Star Wars Trilogy, if somebody can get that license from Sega and actually do it, man, take my money on that one. I would buy that in a heartbeat. I would love to have that game. That game, to me, would be awesome. All right, let's move on. Let's move away from that. That's enough time on that. There's a couple of news things that have come out within the last couple of days that I wanted to touch on real quick. So let's jump into each of these, and we will start with this one. So it looks like Evercade is going to be doing kind of, I guess, their own version of like a Nintendo Direct or a Sony State of Play. And just in a couple of days, this is going to be on March 31st. They're going to do their Evercade showcase, and they're going to be focusing on Neo Geo. This is March 31st. Over in the UK, 8 o'clock, but here it's going to be 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific time. Blaze has announced there will be an Evercade showcase, and the broadcast will focus on upcoming Neo Geo products and more. Now, which I think is interesting. Live on Monday, March 31st, featuring updates on the upcoming Neo Geo products and more, as you see here. Now, they don't just say games, they say products, which I find, like I said, interesting. This partnership with SNK is a milestone moment for Blaze. These games represent some of the most iconic and innovative titles in gaming history, and to bring them to our family of products is a privilege. This partnership isn't just about adding great games, it's about celebrating the artistry and legacy of Neo Geo in a way that's accessible to fans old and new. We're thrilled to give these classics a new platform in 2025. All right, so how many of you guys own any of the Evercade products and are fans? I actually haven't picked any up yet. I've been hemming and hawing on it for a while. I keep thinking about maybe getting one of the handhelds. I keep thinking about maybe one of those countercade things that they did, the Street Fighter or the Mega Man or whatever. Specifically one of those because they have the built-in games that you can't get on cartridge. But now they're talking about Neo Geo. Now, I think we've known for a while that they were partnering with Neo Geo, that they had some stuff coming on. Whether or not that was just going to be carts with games on it or more, we didn't know. It looks like we're going to find out more on Monday the 31st. Now, I'm thinking it would be really interesting if they did another one of their countercade type things like the Street Fighter Alpha, like the Mega Man one, but did it like a sort of like a mini Big Red. I think that would be really cool. Maybe have some built-in games on it. And then, of course, the ability to play the cartridges and whatever. I'm sure they're going to come out with carts for their Evercade products. I can see them maybe doing like a Metal Slug collection or a Fatal Fury collection. Maybe a bunch of just random games on carts and things like that. Or like I said, maybe they do one of these countercade ones, which has 5 or 6 or however many games in it that are some individual games that don't necessarily go together in a collection. I think that would be really cool. That's one I might actually consider getting, especially if it's set up properly. If it's got the joystick and button layout correct, like a Neo Geo should, I think that would be really cool. I would also love to see, if they're not going to do something like that, I'd love to see them actually maybe put out a joystick that has the proper button configuration for the Neo Geo games to go along with any of the carts that they're going to put out. So if you want to play it on your Evercade console, you could get a controller to plug in that's got the right setup for the Neo Geo games instead of trying to, because I don't know, for some reason, it's always weird to play the Neo Geo games with that 4-button layout that they had with the, 1 button lower and then the 3 above. It always feels weird to play that on a 6-button configuration. I don't know why. It doesn't feel right. It feels like you need that Neo Geo configuration. But layout not arcade. Yes, absolutely. The arcade. Yes, 100%. I don't know if I said it wrong or whatever, but that's what I'm talking about. That arcade button layout for sure would be the way to go with this. Even if they're going to put out a control pad or a separate joystick that you can plug in, make it that arcade button layout. And I think people would absolutely love that to go with the carts. But again, we will see on Monday what they have planned. Now, speaking of showcases and directs and things like that, we've also got this. So coming tomorrow is the latest Nintendo Direct. This is going to be 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Unfortunately, it looks like there's not going to be anything in here related to the Nintendo Switch 2. This is going to be 30 minutes strictly focusing on upcoming games for Nintendo Switch. My guess is games coming out from now into the summertime, maybe even into early fall. But they're not going to show anything on the Switch 2 during this presentation. And I think for a lot of people, that's going to be kind of a bummer. I know a lot of people have been really wanting to see more information on the Switch 2. I know I have for sure. But I have to say, at this stage, it kind of makes sense why they're not doing it. I think they want to focus on the games coming into summertime. I think if we're going to see anything on the Switch 2, it's probably not going to be until the summer. March 25th, you'll no longer be able to claim any gold coins towards new. Yeah, I know that sucks. They're kind of doing away with that thing. Isn't this like the first Nintendo release when they don't have a lot of innovation? I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we'll see. I'm hoping for at least some interesting games on here. Last show I talked about the 30th anniversary of Chrono Trigger, one of my favorite JRPG games. I'm hoping that maybe we'll get like a 2D HD remake of that, and maybe that is something that they'll show during this Nintendo Direct. I'd love to see something like that, or something related to Chrono Trigger. I don't know what else they have planned, really. Maybe Metroid Prime 4. Maybe we'll actually finally see something more on that. I don't know. As far as the Switch 2, like I was saying before, my guess is if they're going to talk about it any more this year, it's going to be June. And we know E3's done. No more E3. But all the companies, Nintendo, Sony, Xbox, I'm sure they're all going to still be doing their bigger events, showcases, videos, or whatever during what would normally be that E3 time in June. And to me, that would make the most sense when Nintendo's going to pull out more information on the Switch 2, because that's when it would. Oh, you know what, Jason? You make a good point here. I totally forgot about this. Like the good chance the release date of Switch 2 will be announced on the Switch 2 specific Nintendo Direct on April 2nd. You're right, 100%. Totally forgot about this. There's some events going on throughout the country in early April where people are going to get a chance to check out the Switch 2 in person on hand. I actually signed up to try to go to one going on at the Nintendo store in New York City. Unfortunately, I didn't get picked. Has nothing to do with being on YouTube or an influencer or anything like that. They were just basically opening it up to a lottery. Put your name in. If you get picked, you can go. If you didn't get picked, that too bad. I didn't get picked. I would have loved to. I think that would have been awesome. But yeah, Jason, thank you for that reminder. Like I said, I was thinking June frame time, that E3 type frame time is when we would see more. But you're absolutely right. 1 month, in just a couple of days, I guess, we're going to get that Nintendo Direct. So this Direct tomorrow is going to just focus on games, and then the one in April is going to focus on the Switch 2. Oh, P-Dubs. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Glad to see you here. If E3 was still a thing, Arcade 1-Up could go being the... Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. But yeah, Jason, thanks for that reminder on that. I completely forgot about the April showcase for the Switch 2. So that's when we'll see more. So again, it doesn't really surprise me that we're not going to see anything on the Direct tomorrow. All right, so moving on from that, we got this little bit of news today. So for those of you who are PlayStation Plus subscribers, today they announced the free games for April. And there is one hell of a doozy in here that I am super excited is going to be coming out, because I have not had a chance to check out this game. I have not played it yet. So I am stoked to be able to check out RoboCop Rogue City. These are the games that are going to be coming out starting April 1st. If you're a PlayStation Plus subscriber, you get a couple of free games every month. Uh-oh, what do we got going on here? Dubs, what did you... Man, thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing that, man. I really appreciate that. So, congrats to all the lucky people who just got memberships gifted from P-Dubs. You're the best, man. All right. Stop sidetracking me. So anyway, so we got 3 games coming out April 1st. For me, the biggie is obviously RoboCop Rogue City. I'm definitely excited to check out this game. Looks like a lot of fun. Funny thing is, I'm normally not a big one for first-person shooters on console. I prefer playing them on PC. I'm a keyboard and mouse guy when it comes to first-person shooters. For some reason, I always have trouble doing it with a gaming control pad, but this one I will 100% check out. Now, beyond that, they've also got a couple of games that I'm not as super familiar with. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which I think to me looks like it's going to be similar to games like Dead by Daylight, where you've got, a bunch of people, you're playing online with people. You got a bunch of people trying to survive, and then you've got one person or maybe 2 people playing as members of the Slaughter family from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah, it's a third-person asymmetrical horror experience. So it looks like this is more of an online experience where people are trying to survive and get away from the bad guys, or you can play as the bad guy trying to hunt people down and kill them. Not a big fan of these type of things myself personally. My daughter loves Dead by Daylight. I don't know if she'd play this. She doesn't really know much about Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But for those of you who like that, who like these type of games, that's going to be a freebie as well. And then you've got Digimon Story, Cyber Sleuth, Hacker's Memory. It's Digimon. If you like Digimon, if you haven't played this one yet, it's free. So, you got that going for you, which is nice. Let me catch up on the chat here. Oh! Hey, Moat, good to see you. P-Dubs is... Looks like you got gifted a membership from P-Dubs, so that's awesome. Moat's always good to have on any chat. So I would second that for sure. Where's Brooklyn? I just bought RoboCop on Steam. Oh, great sale for $110. Look, you can't beat... For $10, you can't beat that. You absolutely cannot beat that for $10. I wouldn't be too sad about that for sure. All right. One last thing I wanted to cover. Quick news, and then we'll get on to some of the other main topics that I had, and that's this. So I know a lot of you guys saw a lot of the stuff coming out of that Texas Pinball Festival. One of the big things, of course, at Texas Pinball Festival was the Medieval Madness Merlin edition that they showed off. Now, this is I guess, the third or fourth time, I guess, that Chicago Gaming Company is going to be making a version of Medieval Madness. I guess it's the third time. The original came out in 97. Their original remake was in 2015. Then they did a Royal Edition in 2019, and now they've got their Merlin Edition coming out this year. What's interesting is, and this is from Nap Arcade, so shout out to Nap Arcade. What's interesting is their original plan was to make 1,000 of these Medieval Madness Merlin editions, but they've had such high demand for this. They've had so many people saying that they want this that they're actually rethinking that. They're actually going to distributors, polling distributors to see how many games they should order. They might actually do a bigger run than 1,000. Which is wild to me that this game is in such high demand. Again, this is one of those top pinball games. I've heard Michael B. say it on Pinside. This is ranked number 2 among greatest pinball games of all time, the original Medieval Madness. This new one looks phenomenal, what they've done with it. I love the fact that they've kept the original feel of this and just added some modern aesthetics, like the color DMD on this looks awesome. That topper looks really cool for this thing. So this thing is just awesome looking. God, I wish I could afford pinball. I really wish I did. I really wish I could. This thing is, I don't know how much this thing is going to cost. I got to think this thing is going to be up there for sure in terms of price. But yeah, this is pretty exciting. If you're a Medieval Madness fan, this thing looks like it's just going to be super cool. And I think it's exciting for them to have such high demand for this that the 1,000 they were planning on making just isn't going to cut it. And again, remember, this is the third time Chicago Gaming Company is making this game. 2015, 2019, and now again. This is the third time, and they've got such high demand for it. So I think that is really, really cool. We need to see. Yeah, I heard that too. That's some more. That's definitely some more news, is that they announced that the Evil Dead pinball machine sold out. They sold through their entire run of it, which, again, God, it amazes me. I mean, you got to think that a lot of these are being picked up, obviously, by arcades and things like that. These are not all going in people's homes, but some people are we know some people are buying them for their homes. Yeah, no. The children I can ignore. The wife I can't. I'd be in a lot of trouble. All right. So before I move into the next topic, I wanted to just take a minute and pull back the curtain a little bit on Bill's Retro Gaming Show. See, I've been doing this for a couple of years now, and I know a lot of you have watched my videos. You might have noticed that when I do a video, I have its tendency to say a specific thing at the beginning of each video, right? But I got to tell you, it wasn't easy to come up with. I've said it so often that I don't even have to think about it anymore. It just kind of rolls out. But it wasn't always easy to come up with something that felt right, that felt natural, that, you know, just kind of worked for me. In fact, I went through quite a few iterations trying to figure out what was the best thing to say that fit my personality at the start of my videos. But you know what? Don't take my word for it. See for yourself. All right, here we go. Starting a YouTube channel. What I need to be a success is a strong intro, something that's going to really resonate with people. All right, I got this. Let's do this. Hello, YouTube. It's me. It's Billy B. Oh my God, that's awful. Who would ever say that? Hey, my dudes, welcome to the channel, and all that kinds of stuff. Why am I making my voice sound like that? Hey there, game gurus, and welcome back to the channel. What the hell is a game guru? Welcome back to the channel. Goddamn snowflakes. Ruining home arcade. Hello? Hello? Is this thing on? Anybody? Hello? All right, everybody, welcome to the #1 Arcade 1-Up channel on YouTube. Even though they suck, John D sucks, everybody else are shills. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Get hyped. Let's go!
One eternity later.
Oh man, I can't believe none of these are working. I got one last shot at this. Let's see what happens. All right, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in and checking out this video. If this happens to be your first time on the channel, be sure to hit that subscription button. Click the notification bell if you want to be notified every time I put up a new video. Give this one a thumbs up and leave a comment below if you want to be part of the conversation. Hey, kind of like that. You know, I think that might actually work. Yeah, I think that's going to work. And that, my friends, is the 100% absolute truth about how I came up with the intro to my videos. Oh God, I hope you guys, I've seen some of the chat here. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Kevin Clausen, thank you again so much for the $2 super chat. I don't know who it is. I don't know. You know what? I just thought that would be a lot of fun. I hope people understand that for the most part, that was said with love and respect for the most part. And honestly, like, if it wasn't for a bunch of those guys who have been doing this for years, there'd be no audience for me to do this. So those, you know, I love all those guys. Well, again, most of those guys. I'll leave it at that. And I hope you guys enjoyed that. All right, so with that little interlude out of the way, there are just a couple of other topics that I wanted to talk about tonight, and we'll go to this one next. So I know a lot of you guys have heard about Zen bringing pinball effects to VR, to the MetaQuest, to things like that. Well, just got news over the last couple of days that they've actually partnered up with X-Arcade and their arcade to TV XR tank stick thingy, which I think I'm the only YouTuber in existence who didn't get a free one to review. Not that I'm bitter or anything. But anyway, it looks like they've partnered with them for it to work with their arcade to TV extra controller. Here's a little video of it at the Game Developers Conference. And the whole point of this, obviously, is to use this in mixed reality. Now, that's one of the things that I'm super excited about with this Pinball FX VR is the mixed reality, the ability to have this feel like you've got the pinball machine right in your home, sitting there to play it in your living room, in your game room, whatever, without actually having to physically have it. And while I'm sure it's going to be really cool and fun to play with the controllers, the thought of being able to play this with something physical is really pretty wild. And, you know, you've got, for those of you who have this, you know, you've got the place there to put the controllers in, and they're actually working it out so that the controllers, once you put them in, it kind of lines everything up with the pinball machine so that it knows where the machine is located in your space with the controllers. And then, you know, you can put your weight on the control panel. You got the flipper buttons on the side and just play it like you would real pinball. Now, apparently they're also working on some kind of like force feedback in there, so you can actually really feel it. You can it'll feel like the machine is shaking and doing, you know, what pinball does as you play and everything. So this, I think, is a huge game changer for people wanting to play stuff like this in VR. I remember, you know, when they announced this thing and the idea of being able to play VR, I was like, okay. I mean, I guess that could be interesting for certain things or whatever, but what's the real use case for that? Well, this is it. This is 100% the use case for this control panel if you're excited about, you know, pinball effects and things like this. And I think this is going to be something really, really cool for sure. We got some people coming in a little bit late here. Israel Gaming, good to see you. Way Too Fast, good to see you as well. Nothing like wearing a goofy looking, it's at the size of a football helmet when playing games. Well, you know, look, that's VR, you know? Yeah, okay. But, yeah, I mean, I think this thing looks amazing. This might actually make me consider having to get one of those control panels just to be able to play that because, like I said, I'm sure playing it with the normal controller is going to be fine. It's going to be fun. But I really do think that having that control panel is going to be amazing. I don't believe this execution has none. No, but you can use the joystick to nudge the pinball. It was one of the things they said in the video. You can actually use the joystick to do the nudge. Oh, Brooklyn, I know, man. Yeah, I I swear you must live in VR because anytime I go on the MetaQuest app or go on my MetaQuest, you're always online. You must just live in there all day long. Hey, Papa Brad, good to see you. Glad you could make it. But yeah, so I think that thing is going to be really cool for playing Pinball FX. Like I said, I'm excited to check out the Pinball FX VR when it does come out. But for those of you who've got that control panel or who've been thinking about getting that control panel, this might be the reason to do it. Nudging Pinball FX doesn't work great anyway. I never use it either. So I've played a little bit on my AtGames HD with the PC hooked up to it doing OTG. And yeah, like I can't even with that, the buttons, I couldn't figure out how to map the buttons to nudge. It's kind of the same thing. I got to use the joystick seems to be mapped to the nudge on that too. And I got to do the same thing in that. So I'm kind of used to that. I just got a VR. We sent 5 VR games for review, and I'm working on editing the first one. Gee, man, good for you. That's awesome. I love seeing some of your content for sure on this stuff. I know you always have a good time with it for sure. So just real quick, this is for those of you who haven't seen, this is the X-Arcade website. This is a look at their arcade to TV XR control panel. It actually comes with a couple of VR games that you can download for your MetaQuest if you want. You can get it with or without the pedestal and all. And yeah, I actually think that this would be, like I said, for that, I think this would be something really, really cool. So definitely something to keep an eye out and look out for. All right. I got about 10 minutes left to hit my last topic. Now, this isn't going to take too long. So tomorrow is the drop for AtGames of their next pinball table. This one's going to be for both the 4K and the HD, and it's the second one in their Primal Carnage games. It's the Primal Carnage Retro. Now, let me see if I can find this. All right, here we go. Let me show off a little bit of this. All right, so for those of you who haven't seen it, this is Primal Carnage Retro. This is going to... all right. This is going to drop tomorrow around 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern time. This is the second one of their Primal Carnage. The first one they did was their solid state one. Now, the solid state one is more like a late 70s, 80s style pinball machine. This is more like the electromechanical ones of the 60s. And yeah, for those of you who saw my my review on the solid state one, yeah, I made a boo-boo. I kept saying electromagnetic. When I meant electromechanical. But this is more like those older pinball machines than, you know, the solid state one. So they're kind of going back in time a little bit on this. I've seen a little bit more of this. Just like with the solid state, this isn't going to have a DMD. It's going to be a back box with like 4 spots for score on it. And it's going to be that old style of score where it's, you know, like numbers on a roller counter. It's not digital of any kind on there. So obviously this isn't going to have the same gameplay concept that the solid state one had, where you can play as the dinosaurs killing humans or the humans killing dinosaurs. It's just a straight up pinball machine. Now, I don't think that this carries that same like mature audience warning that the solid state one did, I guess primarily for that, because again, it's just more of a straight up pinball machine. Now, I was actually supposed to I was hoping to have a little bit more for you guys tonight. I was supposed to get a copy of this ahead of time. AtGames did send me a key for this, so I will be getting a copy of the game for review. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite ready today for them to send it to me. They were still actually doing some of the QC on it. They had some last minute things. They wanted to make sure we're 100% correct before it drops tomorrow. So I'll be getting this game, but I'll be getting it around the same time as anybody can purchase it tomorrow around noontime. So I'll be checking it out over the next couple of days. Probably put a review up, hopefully this weekend sometime for you guys so you can check it out for yourself. But Future World Deluxe. Those aren't the Sakura tables we're looking for. They need to bring all those sweet deluxe tables. They're coming. Papa Red, you know they're coming. We just have to wait and see. It's nice. I'll be honest with you. It's nice to see something unique. It's nice to see something that's a new IP. I know a lot of people are excited for the Zakaria Deluxes. Some people aren't that excited, to be honest with you. There are people who have seen these tables a million times. They're not big fans of the Deluxes anyway. So we'll just have to wait and see. I think some are certainly going to be better than others. Yeah, Shooting the Rapids, Future World, Tropical Deluxe. I'm sure those are going to be great. Not so much fun. Yeah, I mean, like I said, we'll have to wait and see how this game plays out for sure. I am excited to check it out, but I did like the solid state one for the most part. This one's definitely going to feel older compared to that for sure. So I guess, I mean, if you like really, really old school games, then this one will be a lot of fun. I think this may be one that people wind up skipping, though, if they're not huge fans of super retro, like I said, 50s, 60s style pinball machines. So there is one other thing that I wanted to talk about that's somewhat AtGames related. And I wound up stumbling upon this YouTuber that maybe some of you have heard of, probably a lot of you haven't. I'll get to him in a second, but let me ask you guys a question. For those of you who own the 4K pinball machine, and I don't, not yet. Still waiting on it. At some point I will. I just haven't yet. But there's one thing with that has made me really, I want to get it eventually. And that's the idea of being able to play not just the Zen tables. I think some of the Zen tables are fantastic. When Medieval Madness, when that Williams pack came out, I was super stoked. Again, Medieval Madness, such a great game. I would love to be able to play that. But it's this idea of being able to play a lot of the VPX tables and being able to do it in that standalone, basically native on the table without needing to plug in a PC, because that is such a pain in the neck to do. So how many of you out there who own a 4KP have had a chance to try VPX standalone on your 4KP pinball? Now, I know it's not something that is readily available. There are some hoops you have to jump through in order to be able to even be part of the beta program. You've got to you've got to be on the Discord and put your name in to get a code so that you can join on it. But that's a myth. It's not a myth. It's definitely not a myth. So Project Soulmate in the 4KP, yeah. This would be great if they were available for everyone. Yeah, so here's the thing. There's a YouTuber out there. He goes by the name of Dr. Wraith. Let me bring this up. So I'm going to, all the stuff I talked about, I will link to in the description once everything is done. But if any of you are curious about VPX standalone, how to set it up, check out this guy's video, because he really okay yeah, Jason, you've heard of him. He has put together a phenomenal video here on exactly how to go about setting up VPX to work on the ALP 4K. Now, yes, you still have to be in the beta. You still have to go through the Discord. You still have to get your code. You still have to be in the beta program in order to be able to do this. But he really does go through it and make it as simple as possible. Yeah, there's setup things. There's definitely some things you have to do. It's not super easy. Now, apparently, Mystery Encoder and Legends of Chain, all the people who are working on this, they are still working on it in order to get this down to something that's super simple and easy for people to do. By the way, I love this guy's, the background that he has on his computer is freaking awesome. They are working on ways to make this almost like a more simple install package at some point in the future. Whether or not that ever fully sees release, again, we know what's going on with some of that and how people feel about putting things out when AtGames has a lot of this locked behind a paywall. But definitely check out, if you're at all interested in VPX on the 4KP, if you can get into the program for it, check this guy's video out, because he goes through the steps to load Table Manager, how to connect your 4KP to your PC. You can get into Table Manager. You can find and download and put all the files that you need onto your 4KP. How you can set it up in the Table Manager to get everything running just right. And while some games you might need to play with and tweak to get them working right, for the most part, a lot of it just kind of works. I can't recommend this guy enough if that's something that you're interested in. So absolutely be sure to check out Dr. Wraith, his Legends Unchained setup, VPX on AtGames ALP 4K update. Again, I'll link to it in the description once everything is done, so you guys can definitely check him out. That is funny. I mean, the video's, I think, a couple of months old, right? Let me see. He did this. No, it's not even. It's like 3 weeks ago that he did this video. I know, because I know I saw it pretty recently. And yeah, isn't that awesome? Not only does he have the background, but he's got Cyclops eye blast like pulsating, which is freaking cool. A standalone is one of the main reasons we'll have to be a part of the testing program. Yeah. The install wizards come a long way. An extreme amount of work has gone into it in recent weeks. Yeah, I'll tell you, compared to how they said you had to do it originally, and how he shows you how to do it is like night and day. I think most people should be able to follow it fairly easily and figure it out. So, like I said, if you're a fan, if you got the 4K Pinball, if you want to try out VPX, if you can keep an eye, get on that. He talks about that too. Get on the Discord, get into it so you can get in as part of the testing program. They're giving out codes like every day, I think, to it. They give it like one code a day or something like that. So you can definitely get into it if you keep trying, and then follow his thing. If I had one, I'd be all over this. I would be trying this 100%. Yeah, I saw the video for that. I didn't get a chance to watch it yet. It's only like a minute and a half. It's not super long. But I gotta check that out. AtGames needs to collaborate with these standalone projects and provide transparency for. I don't get it. Way too fast. I don't get it. I don't understand why they want to lock this stuff behind a paywall and then not put the tools out for people to actually do something with it and use it. And unfortunately, it's like it's a catch-22. It's like they're not providing info, and then the people who would want that info and want to do something with it are pissed off that it's behind a paywall to begin with, and they don't want to put time and energy into something that AtGames is going to wind up profiting from. So I get it. I'm a fan. I like AtGames. I like a lot of what they do, but sometimes some of the stuff they do just, I admit, does not make sense. VPX standalone games are currently on pause until the new wizard is in a ready state. Much continues to be done. All right, Jason, love you, man. You're always right there with the latest info for sure. So hopefully that's something that they will start up again once they get that done so that people can get into the program. But like I said, if you can get in, or if you have been in and haven't had luck getting the tables setup. Again, definitely check out Dr. Wraith's video. All right, it is now 9:03, and I think that's it. I think I've covered just about everything that I wanted to talk about, everything I wanted to cover today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you found some value in today's video. I try not to just cover all the same stuff that I think everybody else covers, which is why I wanted to talk about Evercade and Nintendo and some of that stuff as well. I hope you guys enjoyed my little video during the segment, my little behind the scenes video. Guys, let me know if you like that kind of stuff. Please let me know, and I will try to do more. Because it's fun. It's just, look, not everything has to be so serious, all right? For the most part, we're sitting here talking about toys and video games, okay? Let's not take ourselves so serious in this community, in this, in the things that we do. It's games. It's games. Let's have fun with it, all right? So, thanks, Video Game Vegas. I definitely appreciate it. Yeah, I try. I try to be a little bit different for sure. But, guys, again, I hope you enjoyed the stream. I hope you had some fun. I love hanging out with you guys. This is always great for me, for sure, to just hear from you guys. It's fun putting, videos together that you guys can watch and hopefully get a little something out. It's a whole nother thing when we're sitting here kind of chatting back and forth. That's why I didn't want to call the show Chill and Chat, because I think that's been used to death. That's why I call the show Let's Talk, because I do want to feel like it's a conversation back and forth. My arcade went up serious. And I hope you guys have as much fun doing this as I do. I will be back again in another 2 weeks, keeping it to the 2 week time frame for now. There might actually be a 2 week gap in April before call it this week. I think that's taken too, or maybe I should call it last week, right? But I'll let you guys know at each upcoming show as they come up. Again, I should be back in another 2 weeks. In the meantime, if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and subscribe. If you enjoy the channel, if you enjoyed the show, hit that like button. Leave some comments below on the video as well, and I will see you guys next time. And thanks again to P-Dubs for putting out those 10 memberships. I definitely appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoy the memberships. From time to time, I do put out some limited members only content. Usually it's a video goes up for 24 hours that's members only. So I hope you guys enjoy that if I wind up putting some of that stuff out. And yeah, I've talked long enough. See you guys next time.